Okay, so in the next game, it looks like we're going to be casting Promethean again versus Cult B. And Cult, of course, you might know them from Clan Wars. This time they entered two teams into this. Um, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've got. This next map too might be one that favors the Cult strategy because it's Hot Platforms by Balls on Fire. It's a great name. Um, and it's very much like the old Total Annihilation Lava High Ground if you've played that, where there are sort of four platforms where you start and an area in the middle with a lot of metal that you can take. In this one, with shared armies and with this version of the map that we're using special for this tournament, each team only gets to start on one platform. So that means they start on opposite sides, and there are two completely empty platforms. So we've got the Conundrum can fly through orbit, and there are two air commanders that we haven't even seen yet. One is a transport that can carry up to 6 units, which, used right, that can be really powerful, like a 6 Vanguard drop. And there's the B-Sport, which can float around and just drop like Independence Day style beams down and just totally destroy structures below it, or even armies below it. And those could just fly across and land on the additional platforms. But the other option is just to get 3 normal land commanders and push straight down the middle and see where you get. And we've got, from Cult, we've got some guy in Agent X. I don't know if I've seen them play before. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Cult does. So I'm expecting that from Promethean we saw last time, they went with the Eye family and Perliard. I expect to see them just do a straight push right along the middle.
I'm wondering what their compositions are going to be here. Whether or not they're going to go for the Captain Conundrum, Simbasti, and B-Sport and try to get to the other platforms and get as much map control as fast as they can, or if they're going to just try to go straight to the center and to their opponent's main base.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Promethean take at least a Perliard again, because they seem to enjoy being able to just build all their factories really fast with one unit and then walk forward to repair a commander. It's very easy to kill, as we also saw, but I think they're just going to try to do better with their micro and try to avoid dying. Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Cult try something different, like starting with some of the flying commanders and try to move to take more economy on a different side. From what we saw in the last game, I think we're going to see Promethean just push straight down the middle.
Promethean will probably try to get the Prolete and maybe the Tripex again. I am not sure if they will go with that full 3 commander combo though and try to go down the middle, although they would have a tank and they would have their massive DPS and their combat fab from the Prolete.
Yeah, the Perliard thing is, if you can use it right, and if you know that the other team doesn't have the ability to out micro you, then the Perliard can be very strong. But it only has about half the health of a lot of the other commanders, and it's very easy to kill. And of course it can't repair itself. So, what we saw last time was the pushing commander was basically invulnerable until they were able to kill a Perliard, but then once they did, there was no other defense up there. It was just very easy to pick off the last one. So they got 2 kills with 1.
Alright, so the pick section is about to start.
And I'm just seeing in IRC the Cult A, the other Cult team, was able to beat the Warlords team with King Strategist, Mike and Andy, in their last game. And the picks have started.
And Marshall comes out from the Colt.
Marshall could be a really good pick, yeah, because the fighting is very very tight, very close. Marshall gets a good vision range around him, but being able to build the advanced radar early on or orbital radar is really useful.
It does seem like Athena is gonna come out with their power forward strat.
Yeah, they picked the Pearlier. And we saw it was risky last time, but I think they're just going to try to learn from experience and pull it off better this time. And it's very hard to outflank that other family if they end up picking it. They picked the Sambasti, so that's what I was saying. Actually, I am kind of surprised by this, but I think it's a strong move. Sambasti can do early Inferno drops because it can pick up 6 Infernos and just drop them on a commander, which is very strong. Or it can just fly right over to one of the other platforms and start out. The Sambasti is vulnerable to anti-air. It does have a slightly better anti-air weapon than a normal commander, but of course it flies. So yeah, just normal fighters as opposed to bombers could take it out pretty quickly.
So the Colt with picks Tripax, Quitch, and Marshall.
Yeah, I think that's actually a good combination. I think they do their mega base strategy well, and I think the Tripax is very good for defending a base, especially on these tight platforms. The Quitch, with its anti-air flak, is going to be really good. They won't have a lot of ability to push. We've got the Zephod X coming out from Promethean, and that, if you wanted a commander that can push, the combination of Pearlier and Zephod X on this map is going to be really strong. Zephod X, of course, has slightly more speed, not quite as much as the Pearlier, but it is faster than normal commander. A little bit extra health, and man, they can just spam that Uber cannon. This guy can just kill everything in its path, and it's really hard to stop him. There's no direct counter to that commander.
And the match has started.
I'm really liking this map. It's a lot of tight play, but if you build up some walls, it becomes just an air war. As an offensive weapon, I'm not so sure that Sambasti, the air transport commander, is going to be the best use because it would have to run through, especially with the Tripax on the defensive side, a wall of flak and the Quitch as well. The Sambasti could be shot down while carrying its payload. But I wouldn't be too surprised to see them attempt a Vanguard drop. I'm just seeing the players pinging their spawns, pinging their opponent's spawns, pinging, once again from Orange, just pinging everything.
And the commanders have landed.
Yeah, and this time we are seeing Orange doing a better start with their Pearlier commander being the only one building factories because it builds them so fast, and just allowing the other two commanders to build the economy structures. Early energy storage coming up too, which I think is a good choice considering they can really spam out factories, but then they use up all their resources and the Pearlier should start walking. And then once it's done filling up their storage, then it can build a bunch more factories. So you get a huge eco advantage from that commander.
So the Colt here coming out with all 3 different commanders. One just in the center doing eco, one doing air, and now rushing up a radar satellite coming out of the Marshall, and the other one doing air out of the back of their base. Seems like they're going to try to capture the other platform as quick as they can.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. The Sambasti though will be able to just fly across on its own, so you know, they're going to have to Colt will have to send a air fabricator to both sides, and just hope that at least one of them survives.
They are going idle with the Proler whenever they do not have the eco to use his build arm.
Which, like I said, I think is a really good choice. They built their energy storage, which surprises me a little because the Proler doesn't use energy. But that should help them a lot as well because they only needed to build a few energy structures just to run their factories. But Blue getting the head start, Colt is already able to start claiming metal on, on the side, and they're sending another fabricator to the other side platform. If Colt is not stopped, they're just going to get a massive eco advantage and just be able to build basically anything they want to end this game. They are down already though in metal because they haven't taken all of their starting platform yet.
Colt just starting to get some factories up to be able to move towards the center.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure you need that many early factories on this map because it's very easy to defend. You can just throw up a wall, put some turrets behind it or something. Pushing with T1 land armies is probably not that effective. On the other hand, we do have, it looks like the Sambasti has lifted a fabrication vehicle and might also have lifted another commander. It's just lifting everything.
The Sambasti right now has one other commander in it. I was thinking maybe they were gonna go to pick up all their team in one go.
That would be a lot of eggs in one basket. But the Zaphod X is a very strong unit. If they drop that in a good place, they can just right through any enemy army. However, they're getting spotted already by that early radar satellite from Colt. Very well positioned radar satellite. Colt knows what's coming.
Athena coming in here at one of their side stations and is going to get them off of the island. Athena does take the mid platform.
It looks like they're attacking both platforms simultaneously. If Colt starts building anti-air vehicles, though, the spinners out of their vehicle factories on the east platform, they should be able to stop those bombers. The Sambasti, already down to 30% health, forced to retreat. If it falls back far enough to get near their Perlier, though, it can be easily repaired. But it looks like they changed their mind. They decided to come back.
Colt trying to get some towers up on their bridge.
And an Avenger from Orange just finishes killing that early radar satellite. So that was a huge boost early on to Colt as far as intel, but it has been shot down.
Oh, Colt with the eco lead right now.
Yeah, taking even just one platform gives them a big eco lead, but losing the middle is not good for the long term. I think it's better to have the middle just by a little than it is to have 3 out of the 4 platforms. So if Orange can control just their own platform and the middle, they will keep the eco advantage even if they lose the other 2 platforms. See a large stream of planes coming from Orange over to the west platform.
Athena is not going to let Colt take that platform back. And they're probably they're probably going to try again to make sure that Colt does not retain control of the other platform.
A lot of fighters though from Colt. They should be able to snipe that Sambasti if he doesn't fall back soon. And here they go, moving in. Going over a line.
Air coming in, and they are targeting him. But they
7%.
7%.
Now they're moving in on the Zaphod X, and that thing can really spam its Uber cannon.
The push on the Zaphod fails. And they almost sniped out the Simbasti. Simbasti is gonna go back right to Prolert to get healed up though.
Yeah, I don't think Orange is even that worried. They knew that they could heal it if they survived. They might be a little surprised that they lost that much health, but they're probably very happy that they were able to just kill an entire Air Force for basically no cost. Yeah, look at that, the Prolate healing it already, just starting up, getting it to 9%. Oh, the Sambesti just ran right past it. Advanced bots going up from Orange already. Although we already have an advanced air factory from Cult. Building Hornets. That might be your best counter to a lot of what Orange has, although Orange just has so many fighters at this point. Cult's going to need to take down those fighters if they want their Hornets to do anything.
Athena is about to get their teleporter up on the east platform here.
So one thing Cult could do is use their tripacks to build more flak. I see at least one flak, but get a little more up, get a couple Hornets out, and use the Hornets to bait the fighters from Orange over Cult's base, where the Quitch's flak and the flak cannons built by the tripacks could just take them all out. It wouldn't be a very easy move, but it would be really fun to watch. And a huge Air Force coming in from Orange against the back of Blue Space. But the fighters pretty much take out a lot of that Air Force.
Athena is going to get rid of Colt on the east platform. And Athena is starting to gain control of the west platform.
And the Sambasti back up to over 40% now.
Zaphod is marching his troops also right down the middle.
So I'm surprised to have seen Orange build advanced bots instead of advanced vehicles, because they could have built just 6 Vanguards and then loaded them onto a fully healed Sambasti. I think Orange's army is getting a little ahead of itself, with the Zaphod X just not quite far enough along.
They are trying to shove the Zaphod X here with a Faber, it seems.
Does that trick still work?
I do believe so.
So Orange has overrun Colt's base on the east platform, and they have full control of the west platform. So at this point, it looks like it's just a matter of time. They're actually not. They're about 100 metal ahead of Colt, but not as far ahead as I expected. So they haven't been able to really take advantage of the terrain they were able to take. Nice Uber cannon from the tripacks.
Colt is going to try to get some defenses up here in the front.
We have a lot of orbital from Orange.
Zaphod is finally up to the front now.
Yeah, so I think Cult played really well. Their strategy of trying to take the sides, it worked out actually better than it looks, because they lost a lot when the Zaphod X was able to take the middle, and there was nothing they could do about it, because that commander is just so good at pushing along the land. No amount of soldiers down the middle could have helped, and Cult seems to have neglected pushing down the middle because they They just thought it wasn't worth that fight.
Colt's gonna try pushing off Athena here with a commander, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. No Uber cans came out, and Colt has lost a commander.
They did, but they took out that forward army, and now we've got some laser defense towers focusing on the Zaphodex. They might eventually be able to kill it, but I think
an
at this
uphill
point,
battle.
I think at this point Athena is just willing to lose that commander.
And it looks like the Hornets are going to be able to take out the Zaphod X without dying here. And the Hornet is going to be able to kill Zaphod X on the next shot.
Yeah, they will, but I just don't think it's enough. The Sambasti is now fully healed and defended by a lot of fighters, but their micro is going to be very important here because the amount of fighters that Blue has, if they spot it and if they get in close enough, probably would be able to take down that Sambasti very quickly.
Promethean last game did happen to go down 2 commanders early on with an advantage and psych themselves out of winning the game when they did have position to win. This game is a bit more lopsided to them, but if Colt does get their fighters in the right spot, they can still pull off a victory here.
Yeah, and we got an orbital radar moving forward, somehow surviving all of the orbital that Orange has. All the orbital fighters they have, they still haven't been able to kill this orbital radar moving forward from Blue. And if they spot that Sambasti, they do have a lot of fighters still, and they might still be able to snipe it and at least get that kill, which would leave just the very vulnerable Prolia left. Blue hasn't fully lost this game yet if they can defend, and they have a Tripax which is very good at defending. But Orange is sending their Air Force in, taking out all that T2 air. Flying over a lot of anti-air though. Losing a good number
Although
of
Orange does leave the Sambasti vulnerable every single time they do fly their air away.
And just using their orbital fabricators to try to reclaim whatever defenses the Tripax commander can build.
Coming in now on the Tripax, he has great Uber Cannon comes out of there for the Tripax, but he is being pinned down by several tanks, and he is gonna die.
It's a shame. That Tripax commander is so much fun to play with because it's very, very hard to kill. And we got the Sambasti moving forward again behind a wall of fighters, but it looks like maybe Cult was able to see it. They have their fighters positioned along the side. If they can kill that, then it's down to 1 commander against 1 commander.
Oh, and they do leave the Sambasti a little bit open. He is trying to turn around here.
His turning radius is so slow.
Colt probably does have more fighters than general vicinity than Promethean does, and Sambasti is so close to the front, dropping off units.
Dropping 6 Infernos, but not really in a good place for a commander snipe. I think they might have realized that the last remaining Cult commander, the Marshal, even though it has low health,
and
is
their air is a little bit out of position for Athena, and Colt's air does go the other direction though.
2 orbital fabricators get killed to 1 umbrella.
Colt has seen the commander though.
Yeah, with very few fighters remaining. Now they focus on it, but I don't think they have nearly enough. They're fighting an air war over several anti-air towers. And even if they can kill it, at this stage, even though the Prolair does not have a lot of health, it is very well defended in its base.
Colt is slowly starting to lose their platform.
Yeah, and the last commander from Cult is not one that you want on the front line.
2 unit cannons are already out for Athena though. The 3rd one is on its way.
Unit cannons are one thing I did not expect to see in this game.
There is no orbital defense from the Colt, so if they can find out where that last commander is, they drop
There
slammers on top of
is
it, it
there
will
is
be an
one umbrella
insta-kill. And
from
the
Colt.
slammers are actually in the air right now. Total of 8 slammers coming in right at the back of the base.
That is a well-positioned unit cannon. That's going to be the game. Armies moving in on both sides, and a very low health martial commander is all that's left for Colt. This has been a really exciting game, though.
Athena
Blue's still
is going to
fighting.
take the rest of the factories out and the metal in the back of the base.
Colt's still fighting to the end. You got to respect that.
And Athena finally has seen where the Colt's last commander is and is just sending everything on an attack command to get him. And that is game.
Just as the next wave of units come in. That was a really fun game to watch. That sent Bestie down to 30% health again. If they didn't have their Proler, that actually would have turned out very differently.
Looking back now, I'm looking back now, and from what I can see, Colt was ahead by 50 metal or even more at the start of the game.
Yeah, so I think Cult played their strategy as well as they could have. I just think that, unfortunately, because there's so much metal in the middle, you can't just ignore the middle and go for the sides. It would have been a little more interesting if the sides on this map had, enough metal to really balance it out, or to really like have more than just taking your own platform in the middle.
Yeah, at pretty early on in the game, it was 286 to 209 in favor of the Colt.
Yeah, it's just so hard to guard two expansions at the same time, especially against a team. Both of these teams, actually, another interesting thing to point out is that they're both experienced Clan Wars teams. Now, they usually play in a 4v4 format, but they might even know like playstyles of each other and might have been able to kind of know what to expect they were up against.
Yeah. And it does seem like Athena does slowly take the lead back from the Colt, especially once they do take the east platform in the middle game.
I really like the early orbital radar from Cult. I think sometimes that martial commander might be underestimated because it's not very good at what some of the other ones do, which is just destroy whole armies all single-handedly. But if you're going for more of a holistic approach where you're playing planetary annihilation and you're here to build large armies and send around your forces, try to take areas of the map, intel is key. Even though sometimes in League of Commanders it does kind of just come down to
And
commanders fighting commanders.
in that snipe attempt from the Colt with their fighters on the Simbasti, they did not target the Simbasti right away and did shoot a lot of their initial attack at the other fighters in the area instead of Simbasti.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was there were micro mistakes from both sides because Athena wasn't really able to keep their Simbasti in the middle of their wall of fighters. They thought putting it behind it would be enough, and the fighters can go around so easily that you can't just hide behind your fighters.